Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited. As well, we've got major breaking news over the last hour. Vince McMahon has officially retired from the WWE. Now, if 6 months ago, someone would have said, Vince is going to retire in 2022. Vince McMahon will not be in WWE past the end of the year, let alone halfway through the year. And they probably would have got laughed at. They probably would have been like, he's in his mid to late 70s. It's fine. Vince ain't going nowhere. Or fast forward to the last 2 months. Many people started to see this coming. With all the accusations on Vince McMahon, this does not come. It does come as a shock, especially the timing of this randomly on a Friday afternoon. I'm trying to think. On a Friday afternoon, they're in Boston, so it was 4 o'clock when they made the announcement on Twitter. And that's the other thing. They just made an announcement on Twitter. No, press conference type deal. No video of Vince announcing this. Just a random tweet. And let's check out that tweet before we get any further into this. Vince McMahon sent out the following tweet stating, "At 77, time for me to retire. Thank you, WWE Universe. Then, now, forever, together. Hashtag WWE, hashtag thankful." So Vince McMahon sends this out at 1:05 Pacific, which is 4:05 Eastern in Boston, where SmackDown is, where he lives in Connecticut. Connecticut's the East Coast time zone, right? I believe so. I've never been to Connecticut. Anyways. Enough of that. So Vince or somebody sends out this tweet as Vince, and the wrestling world goes wild. And we have a lot of questions. Who's running the company now? And is Stephanie still interim CEO? Is Stephanie, going to be the real CEO? What's going on with this? What's going on with that? Who's going to run creative? Who's going to run? And we got a little bit of those answers in a press release put out by WWE that I'm going to pull up here on the screen. Why do I not have the right screen anymore? Did I just accidentally close the wrong thing? I think I did. Give me 1 second to reopen the right screen. Here we go. Press release by WWE. So the press release reads, and quote, "As I approach 77 years old, I feel it's time for me to retire as chairman and CEO of WWE. Throughout the years, it's been a privilege to help WWE bring you joy, inspire you, thrill you, surprise you, and always entertain you. I would like to thank my family for mightily contributing to our success. And I would also like to thank all of our past and present superstars and employees for their dedication and passion for our brand. Most importantly, I would like to thank our fans for allowing us into your homes every week and being your choice of entertainment. I hold the deepest appreciation and admiration for our generations of fans all over the world who have liked, currently like, and sometimes even love our form of sports entertainment. Our global audience can take comfort knowing WWE will continue to entertain you with the same fever, dedication, and passion as always. I'm extremely confident in the continued success of WWE, and I leave our company in the capable hands of an extraordinary group of superstars, employees, and executives. In particular, both chairwoman and co-CEO Stephanie McMahon and co-CEO Nick Khan. As the majority shareholder, I will continue to support WWE in any way I can. My personal thanks to our community and business partners, shareholders, and board of directors for their guidance and support through the years. Then, now, forever, together." So with that, basically this is Vince saying that I'm done, I'm gone, I'm leaving. Or it's Vince saying, I couldn't get past what came out. They got me. But it is interesting. Stephanie will be chairwoman and her and Nick Khan will be co-CEOs. So that means Stephanie is the chairman of the board, but Vince remains on the board, I would assume. Now, they did not state if Vince is stepping down from the board or not. He did make note, as the majority shareholder, I will continue to support WWE in any way I can. But I do want to pull up a tweet here from Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, as he tweeted out the following that makes me think Vince may have also stepped down from the board. So Thurston did tweet out. Vince McMahon is retiring from all roles, including head of creative. A WWE spokesman confirms to me. Also, at 1:29 p.m., Brandon Thurston said that there is a meeting for all WWE staff in the next 30 minutes at 5 p.m. Eastern. Thurston would also say the hearing, there wasn't much we didn't already know coming out of the 5 p.m. staff meeting. Now, with this news comes what was Talent told. And Wrestling Inc. actually got a copy of the Talent memo, the internal memo that was sent out, stating, quote, to all WWE superstars, as I approach 77 years old. Oh my God, am I really that old? I feel it's time for me to retire. I've thoroughly enjoyed my passion, wisdom, and love of the business with you. No longer will you see the smiling, docile, level-headed, calm presence at Gorilla every week. Your dedication to WWE will ensure that our company will continue to grow and prosper. Our organization is nothing without you. You are WWE's only natural resource, chosen to perform in front of a global audience. You are all WWE global ambassadors, carrying the WWE flag wherever you go. Wave it high and proud, and bust your ass to be all you can be as a person and a performer. One other thing, I won't be with you, but I'll be watching. Remember to keep your hands up, grab hold, and sell. By the way, SmackDown airs live tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central on Fox. Vince, like, really? Really? You ain't got to sell it to them. You ain't got to sell it to the staff. Oh, yeah, I'll make sure you watch SmackDown tonight on Fox. Like, what? But that's just a raw message from Vince. Yet, even more has come out on this, because with Vince leaving, it looks like Brock is leaving as well, as we have a number of tweets from Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer and F4W Online. Brian Alvarez sends out a tweet stating, and this is, I'm going to get the times on here, 1:48 p.m. Pacific time. From several sources, Brock Lesnar has left SmackDown. Remember, Brock's supposed to be on the show tonight. Alvarez then sends another tweet out at 2:15 p.m., 5 minutes ago, as we're live right now, stating, Brock's line was derivative of, if he's gone, I'm gone. And my first thought is, oh, fuck. What about SummerSlam? What about SummerSlam next week? If Brock just walked out and said, bye-bye, bye-bye, what him and Roman main event of SummerSlam next week? They've already changed that match once because Randy's hurt. They have to change that match again? Vince, gone. Brock now saying, if he's gone, I'm gone. What? Like, there's so much stuff unraveling right now. We know Brock is a Vince guy. Brock would basically do anything for Vince. Vince says, do this. Brock says, okay. He says, do that. Brock says, all right. He says, jump this high. Brock says, you want me to go higher? He says, be goofy, dance around with a briefcase like a boombox. Brock says, you got it, boss. Like, we've always heard that Brock will do anything Vince asks him, and rarely, if ever, fights back on it. So without Vince there, and I don't want to think for Brock Lesnar, but maybe he's under the impression of there's only one guy I'll listen to. He ain't here no more, so I ain't listening to nobody else but bye. You know what I mean? That's what it sounds like. I don't know that for a fact, but that's what it sounds like. So we'll see what's going on. Vince no longer in charge of creative, which that's another big whole thing to unravel, because it goes, you got to think, if Vince is no longer in charge of creative, who is? Bruce Pritchard? Triple H? Jeff Jarrett? Because remember this. Think about this one, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go all the way back. Circa 1992, Vince was on trial for possibly distributing steroids to his roster. There was a chance Vince was going to jail. What did they do in 1992 to make sure that this company would still remain running smoothly, I guess you could say, if Vince had to go away? They had Jerry Jarrett as the contingency plan. They had Jerry Jarrett in place in case Vince had to go away, and Jerry Jarrett was going to be put in head of creative. Well, fast forward 30 years to the year. And all of a sudden, WWE hires another Jarrett in an executive role. Why? Well, they say he's in charge of live events. Live events as far as what? Booking the buildings, talking to local promoters, getting all that kind of stuff done? Or is Jeff Jarrett been brought in to possibly run creative now? I mean, you, at one point, 30 years ago, wanted a Jarrett as your contingency plan. Is a Jarrett again your contingency plan? Like, oofa. Now, I've seen a lot of people go, Triple H. Triple H can run the company. Triple H, that's fine. Triple H. There was a lot of questions when they said that Bruce Pritchard would be helping run creative and head of talent relations. So now the big question is, can Triple H do both jobs? Head of talent relations and run creative? I don't know. I don't think so. Possibly, but I don't think that's the route they go. So now the big question is, who runs creative? Who is in charge of the final say of, all right, you wrote this, you wrote that, you wrote this, let's see the script. All right, good, cut it, good, cut it. You know? Paul Heyman, maybe? But does Paul even want the job? That's the other question. Heyman is not an executive in WWE. Heyman is a talent that people go to for advice. So there is so much to unpack here, so many things to think about, and things are starting to domino. Dominoes are starting to fall. Things are starting to trickle. Again, Vince says I'm retired, 77 years old. Then you gotta say, okay, who's gonna run the company? Business side, it's Stephanie and Tony, or Nick Khan. Stephanie and Nick Khan. But on the day-to-day wrestling side, we don't know. Then we hear Brock left because Vince left. Brock said, if Vince ain't here, I'm not here. Like, what is going on? Also, Fightful is teasing a story saying, notes on the meeting, the message sent within the company, Brock Lesnar and another major star rumored to be coming, rumored. So another major star leaving, walking out, not one. What if Roman also said, peace? You know what I mean? What if Roman also said, bye-bye? Also, according to Sean Sapp of Fightful, he said that Lesnar was said to be, quote, very pissed off about this news before he left the building. Like, Brock's gone. Brock was supposed to be on SmackDown tonight. Like, if Brock's not going to be in town, if he's not going to be on the show, of course. But still, Brock up and gone. So it's like, whoa. Okay, then. But the big stuff is now we don't know who's going to run creative. Who's going to be that final say? Is it Bruce Pritchard? I mean, maybe for now until they lock somebody else down. But who's that final say? And the other big question, Kevin Dunn. What happens with Kevin Dunn? Because you know that Kevin Dunn actually has not been at the tapings recently. According to a new report from, let's read this right here from the Wrestling Observer, I believe it is. Let me pull this up really quick. According to the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Vince McMahon, along with Kevin Dunn, his longtime associate and executive vice president of WWE television production, were absent from SmackDown last week in Orlando, Florida. A rare occurrence for both of them to not be there. Word is also that one, if not both, were also not at Raw. So some are saying, I saw someone report on this going, maybe they were at John Cena's wedding. Why would Kevin Dunn be at John Cena's wedding? You know what I mean? Vince, maybe. But Dunn, I don't know. So there's the other question of if Kevin Dunn gets let go, is gone, takes up that role as head of production, basically lead director. Because we already know, it's been no secret over the years that Triple H and Stephanie are not the biggest fans of Kevin Dunn. Also, if Kevin Dunn is gone, does that mean we hopefully lose the 77 camera cuts in a segment? Whoops, I just punched a bowl. But sit down, camera. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So there is a lot to think about here, a lot to unpack here, a lot to say what's going on about, because this all just came randomly. Like if this would have came this morning when the Triple H news came, like at that time, that would have made sense. First thing in the morning, you make an announcement. But to do it just randomly in the middle of the afternoon, I kind of slightly understand why you would do this when you did. On a Friday, after the stock market is closed, so that way your stock is safe for the weekend, and then we get more news on this, and maybe everything levels out by Monday before the stock exchange opens back up. That's one of the things that I'm thinking of. That's one of the things that I'm thinking about is A, you do it after the stock market closes, so that way it doesn't affect the stock over the weekend. And then B, more news comes out, so that way you then hope, okay, this more news could be good news. It's not going to hurt the stock. Maybe it hurts it a little, but not as much as it could have. So that's the other thing you got to look at with the timing of this announcement. The timing of this announcement is, was this done to help the stock? Of course, most likely. But so much to unpack and so much we still do not know. A lot of questions unanswered. As again, this came so quickly, so out of nowhere, so unexpected. Not as unexpected as it would have been 6 months ago, but unexpected of just randomly on a Friday afternoon. You get my drift. But with that, there's really not much more I can say, not much more known about the situation. And if we do hear anything further on Vince McMahon stepping away, Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan now being co-CEOs of the company, Stephanie being the chairwoman of the board, Vince still retaining his majority stockholder position. What else happens with creative, production, Brock Lesnar? I'll have it for you right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. So again, not much more is known on the situation, but we will continue to follow this story very, very closely. Actually, the 3 or 4 stories that all broke from this, we will continue to follow it all very, very closely. If we do hear anything forward on this topic, this situation, this just mind-blowing announcement, that it's still just very weird to me the way it was announced too. It's just, oh, I'm 77, maybe it's time for me to retire. And now forever together. Bye-bye. That's still also, but in line with when Stephanie was supposed to be taking time off. When Stephanie stepped away, they didn't do no big grandiose announcement. It was just, I'm taking a leave of absence. Well, we see how long that lasted. We see how long Stephanie's leave of absence lasted. Not long at all. So with that, guys, keep it locked right here to Pro Wrestling Unlimited. We will have all the late breaking news concerning Vince McMahon retiring, Brock Lesnar walking out of SmackDown, and so much more throughout the remainder of the day. We will talk about this more on tonight's SmackDown review as far as how all this impacts SmackDown, what we learn through and after SmackDown, and so forth. So we will continue to follow this story, and we will keep you guys as up to date as we can throughout the remainder of the day. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next time. Have a good one, guys.